WOCA.
Ocala.
Auto repair with personal care. We know what we're talking about. Matt Gibbs and the guys over at Sunrise Automotive will treat you right. Will treat you right.
Yes, he will treat you right. 5 minutes after 10 o'clock, it is time for Matt Gibbs. Matt is here to answer your questions, but the phone lines aren't working, so I guess you could text. I don't know. How would we do this? I don't know. Anyway, Matt is here from Sunrise Automotive and Crossroad Auto Sales. I'm trying to think of an alternative way to do this.
Call my cell phone.
On your cell phone, you want to give out that number?
Yeah.
Okay. How come I don't hear you? There. All right. So if you want to ask a question, don't call Matt on his phone, but you can text him on his phone. Is that all right?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Or they can call, and we can just put on speakerphone.
How they? Oh no. You want them to call?
Why not?
All right. What's your phone number?
It's 352-817-5638.
All right. 817-5638. 817-5638. If you want to call Matt, you're calling his cell phone, and he'll be holding his cell phone up to the microphone.
I'll put it on speakerphone.
On speakerphone, so that we can hear your question. Or you can text.
Or you can text.
How about that?
That's fine.
Okay. 817-5638. Okay, so it's a new number today because our phones aren't working. So how you doing?
I'm doing good.
So look at there's an article here. I want to share this with you. Associated Press exclusive report. Self-driving cars getting dinged in California.
No way, can't be.
Well, wait a minute. I want to read you some of this because this is kind of interesting stuff. I won't read all of it because it's too long. But basically, let's see. 4 of the 50 self-driving cars rolling around California have gotten into accidents since September. 4 of them. 2 of them were being operated by people, so they're not counting those 2.
Huh.
The other 2 were being operated by the computer, and the accidents were under 10 miles an hour.
Oh.
Okay. Now, that's part 1. Part 2 is it explains a little bit about this. It says California has privacy laws, so they can't reveal anything about the accidents, so we can't find out why they had accidents. A chief selling point for the cars is their safety. They have, to keep them safe, are you ready for this? Cameras, radar, and laser sensors. And that's all I wanted to say to you, because that's 3 more things that can go wrong. So if those are the 3 things that keep us safe in a self-driving car, and like everything else in the universe, they break down, what do you do? I mean, gosh, we haven't had this problem yet, but what is your prediction? How soon before we see this in Florida?
I don't, years. I think it's going to something.
Years, but how many years?
I don't know.
2?
It's amazing the way technology expounds, the way it multiplies.
Do you remember 20 years ago?
Yes.
It doesn't seem that long ago.
No, it wasn't that long ago.
So this could be in 20 years.
It could be. But, pretty soon, are we going to be like flying to work? We get in our little...
20 years?
Not in 20 years, probably, but...
I don't know.
I don't know either. I just, I've learned this. I just worry about today.
Do you? That's right. I know. I know. But do you think your job will be gone? Do you think the mechanic's job will be gone? It'll be just the technician. The self-driving car brings itself into the self-repairing station, and you're just the guy checking them in or something, and doing the tech.
Well, as much as it advances, as technology advances, looking back 20 years, there's things on cars today that we didn't have to deal with 20 years ago, but here I still am.
Right.
I think what happens is as technology, expounds and grows, it weeds out those technicians that get to a certain level, that they were there for that era, that era.
Yeah.
And now, as technology grows, The people that are building them are going to grow. The people that are working on them are going to grow. Everything is going to evolve. Everything's going to change.
Right.
So I may, I could see it in not too many years where I'm just going to be a dinosaur. I'll be the old dinosaur guy that, he worked on cars back in the early 2000s.
When I went to school, we were required to take shop class. One of the shop classes was called printing.
Yeah, I took printing.
Did you take printing? And in printing class, I'm a bit older than you, so I don't know if you had this class, but you literally had types, little pieces, metal with letters on them, and you had to put the metal into these wood boxes to create a whole story in a newspaper. And the ink would roll over all of those metal things, and then voila, your whole story is printed.
Right.
And the teacher said, this is a great skill because this is how newspapers and books are printed. You'll always have a job. Well, hello. Let's see. That was 1970, let's say, and I had that class. By 1980, that wasn't even true anymore.
Right. And that's a perfect point. But newspapers and books and still are printed.
Right.
So,
but that guy's job is gone.
It's gone. It's a memory. But the printer is still there. He just does it in a different capacity.
So you have to keep up. Well, kind of like what we do here. I mean, if I didn't learn how to use digital audio, I wouldn't be doing this.
Right. Exactly.
I guess.
Exactly. And for us, one of the advantages of doing what I do is that it kind of keeps you on the S curve. You're constantly. I don't have a choice not to learn. I have to learn.
That's true. And you learn it in increments. It's not like you have to learn. If you took 2 years off, you'd be so far behind.
Right, exactly. The manufacturers keep us on our toes.
Yeah, it's true.
Ford and Chrysler, GM, they're the ones that they consistently and continuously make us learn new things because they're creating new things.
Wow.
So but one day it's going to get to the point because to be honest, when I got into this field, when I got into this industry, it was in the mid '80s. I graduated from Forest High School in '83, and while I was in high school, I was working at the Gulf station right next to Morrison's on the boulevard.
Right.
And,
which is still vacant, right?
Which is still vacant. That's sad, but it is. And I remember, this was my passion. I wanted to do this, and I remember a car coming in. I can remember it was a silver 1982, 81, 82 Camaro. And it was a student over at Forest High School, and he came over to the station because his check engine light came on. And the manager, he was like the manager, he was like the mechanic, he kind of ran the station. He didn't know what to do.
Oh, wow.
He didn't know what to do. So he started checking all the fluids, and he started checking this, checking that, not understanding that light had nothing to do with the mechanical part of the car. It was all about the computer side of the car. And I thought about it, and I was 17 years old, 16, 17 years old at the time, and I'm sitting there watching this, and I'm thinking, I got to get where somebody knows about this.
Okay.
And that's where I got to get.
So this guy was your boss?
He was.
Basically.
And then shortly after that is when I went to GM, on the GM side.
Uh-huh.
But I went to this dealership, and it was Lyle's Motors at the time. And all the guys in there were old guys.
Hey, is the phone working now? Yeah, I just saw it come on. Okay, so now the phone is working. Okay, so you can call in if you want. 622-9622. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I saw it ringing and I didn't realize it was Dan. I saw the 407. Thank you, Dan. What did he say? What? 622-9622. If you want to call. So tell me now. So that's an important part of your story right there.
Well, so what happened was I ended up working at this dealership, and there was a bunch of old guys there.
Okay.
And then this computer system started really coming about, and none of the guys I worked with wanted to go there.
They were resistant.
Yeah, they were. I'm not going to learn this. We're not going to. And I just happened to, I was young.
You were young and you knew.
And I was bold, and I was ambitious, and I wasn't afraid. That was probably the biggest thing. So they started sending me to Jacksonville, going to the GM training center, and just started teaching me, and that's how I.
Oh, wow!
That's really how I.
So
got
did you actually end up with more knowledge about that part of a car than the older guys?
Yeah, and it really made them mad.
I bet it did.
because what I ended up doing was I was fixing cars that nobody else in the place could fix. So therefore, I was getting all these jobs, and we got paid by what we did, not by how many hours we were there.
Oh, wow.
So here I am, at 18 years old, making more money than a guy that's been there for 30 years.
Yeah.
So that didn't go over real well.
Right.
And we had to work through that kind of issue. But yeah, I grabbed a bull by the horn, so to speak, and went on with it. And actually, I was hired by General Motors to go to dealerships. We had a rep. If you're selling Oldsmobile, Cadillac, Pontiac, Chevrolet, each division has a representative that comes and checks on you and finds out, checks on warranty issues, customer satisfaction issues. They're the representative for that particular manufacturer. And I had two of the reps, our zone rep. He'd call and say, "Hey, there's a issue down with this Cadillac down at Fountain Oldsmobile in Orlando. I'm gonna come by, pick you up, and we're gonna go look at that car."
Oh, wow.
So so that was pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
I got, I was actually getting a paycheck from the dealership, and I would get a paycheck from General Motors itself to kind of help.
So you were like the go-to guy for not just the city, but the whole area.
Yeah, for our zone area. Because I just soaked it in. I was like a sponge. I was just soaking it all.
Well, isn't that interesting? I mean, that's what has to be done. You have to keep up with it all.
Right. And so, and here I am, almost 50 years old now, and I'm looking for that me 30 years ago. That person.
Are you hiring somebody?
I hired someone that is kind of in that role and in that position, a young man, and he's doing real well. And
are you able to do for the young people who work for you what GM did for you? Can you send them to school, or is it not? Is that over your head?
I can't. We have classes out. A lot of the parts places will put on clinics and classes and stuff. And a lot of times they go, but it wasn't like it was when I was working for GM. Friday, I had a young man that came in. His parents bought a car from me, and he came in and he wanted to talk to me, and he's wanting a job. I'm not a teacher. You have to be a teacher to teach.
Right.
I'm not a teacher. I'm just not built that way. So I really encouraged him to go to the dealership. Get involved in a dealer. Knock on the doors. When I went to the dealer, I told the service manager, "Hey, I'll work for free. You don't even have to pay me," because I understood the value of the knowledge that I'd get by working around these guys.
Right.
And I kind of directed him in that way, because what happens is, working in a dealership, working for a GM dealer, or Ford or Chrysler or Toyota, anybody, they come out with this new technology.
Right.
Okay. Well, a lot of times before a dealership can get a car, they have to have someone certified in that area to work on it. So if Toyota comes out with this new thing, this new system,
right,
they'll make you, before you can get this car with this new system, they'll make technicians go and get certified in it, and now Toyota can, that dealer can get the car because they have someone there that can fix it. So they're kind of mandated to educate.
Makes sense, yeah. Yeah.
And so I got to go to a lot of those schools and do a lot of those classes where we used to have to drive to Jacksonville to go to the GM Training Center. Now everything's online now, and they have group classes on the computer.
That's true too. Yeah. Wow. So much has changed, and I can imagine with the self-driving cars, they're just I'm gonna go to work. I'm gonna call you up, Matt. I'm sending my car, and it'll go see you, and then you'll do whatever. I have a question about the separation between the mechanical and the computer too. You brought that up earlier in your story, and also I want to ask you about the Mercury comet.
Okay.
So we'll take a little break and be back. The phone line is working now. If you want to call, go ahead and call. The number is 622-9622. We'll be right back with Matt Gibbs after this.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Sunshine mixing with clouds today. There can be a shower and thunderstorm around, mainly during the afternoon hours. The high 87 at the coast, 92 inland. Partly cloudy tonight, low 67 inland, 72 on the coast. Tomorrow, partly sunny and warm with a chance of a thunderstorm, high 87 to 91. On Wednesday, some sunshine with a shower or thunderstorm likely, the high 87 at the coast, 92 inland. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY, only $4.99. Plus, DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Hi, Danny Warfel here. Get moving with Florida Credit Union's fast and easy loan approval process.
Let Florida Credit Union start up a new car loan for you today. No more waiting, hassles, or stop signs. You can even apply online. With a strong financial team behind you, you can enjoy great rates and fast approvals.
It's all about personalized service and a streamlined process.
Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life.
Shop at Shannon Roth Collection for your special someone this Mother's Day. We'll guide you to the perfect gift and make you a winner in your lady's eyes. We have hobo handbags, 4 new cutting-edge jewelry lines, 6 new apparel lines, shoes, that on-the-go favorite as well, chocolate. And don't forget, we have free gift wrapping to make your shopping experience a breeze at Shannon Roth Collection. The Shannon Roth Collection located on the historic square in downtown Ocala.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
The most trusted name in news, Fox News, every half hour, only on 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
All right, Matt Gibbs is here, and you do have a phone call, somebody waiting patiently. Let's go straight to that call. Good morning. Thank you for waiting. You're on the air with Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Hi.
I have a 2001 Honda CR-V, and my question is about shocks or the suspension system.
Okay.
All of a sudden, it started, when I hit a bump, it's like boom, boom, and bouncing. And are there shocks all around, or what do you think that is?
Well, that's what it sounds like. The front of that vehicle actually has struts, and then and the rear has shocks. So,
okay. Do they replace the struts? Is that
yes, ma'am.
The point where they have to be replaced?
Yeah, I would definitely. And if you're feeling like a hard thump to it, it may be that one of them's actually locked up, which is kind of common on them. What'll happen is that the strut or the shock, depending on what it is locked up. It's not compressing and it's not expanding.
All right.
And that'll give you a real hard, like every time you hit a bump, it's like.
Well, the last time, I mean, this sounds stupid, and I'm thinking I'm crazy because I'm just a woman, but the last time I had my oil changed, the last 2 times when I leave there, it's like working real funny, and it's like, what is it when they jack it up?
Yeah, but and that's something very common is because when they lift it up on the lift, it causes all your shocks and your struts to expand completely out.
Yeah, and my husband thought I was nuts when I told him that, but on the back of my SUV, when I look at it, I don't see the shocks like I did. I used to have a Ford Explorer, and you could see them, but on these, they're more up into the frame.
Yeah,
area.
they're tucked in there pretty good.
And that's a pretty expensive job.
Actually, if I'm not mistaken, right now, I think Monroe's having a special.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're having a special on struts and shocks.
Okay.
That's one of the good things about what we do is like the manufacturers, all the parts manufacturers, they put on specials.
Right.
So, a lot of shops, the shop may be getting a deal. If you buy 3, you get 1 free, or whatever. But they don't extend that to the customer.
Yeah. Well, I know it's my nephew that's my mechanic, and he has a business, and when he gets stuff, he can, with Napa and the places he deals with, they get a better price. But
anyway, you might want to have him check into that.
I thought something was up with it, and I need to get it taken care of.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate the information.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. The phone lines are open again, or are working again, I should say, and they're open. And the number is 622-9622 if you'd like to speak to Matt right now. So she actually kind of dovetails with my question about the computer/non-computer parts of the car. If the computer part is going bad and you don't address the problem, could it affect the non-computer? Could it cause something else to go wrong?
Yes.
Okay. And
in other words, like if you're, let's say, and you have a fuel delivery issue, oxygen sensor issue, something that has to do with fuel delivery, and you're not addressing the situation, well, then that could take out your catalytic converter, so to say.
Okay.
Like I'm saying, maybe you're getting too much fuel, and the converter can't burn all the unburned fuel that's going through the exhaust system, and it'll actually damage the catalytic converter. So now you had a $50 sensor that went bad, that caused a $300 converter to go bad.
Right.
So it's always worth at least having it checked. Just my check engine light's on. I don't. A lot of times people say it runs perfect.
Yeah.
And it may feel like it's running perfect.
Right.
But there's an underlying thing that's happening that if you don't fix this is what's going to occur. This is what's going to happen over here to this mechanical side of it.
Right. See, my steering light comes on every now and then. Very rarely, but once in a while it does. And nothing feels different. It's just the light that's on. And sometimes I can stop, turn the car off, turn it back on, and there's no light.
Right.
I have no idea what that even means. I think I asked you about it once before.
I don't remember about a steering light.
But what does a steering light mean?
Well, some of the newer cars, people think power steering pump, power steering belt, power steering fluid. Well, those days are almost gone. A lot of the newer cars now, power steering is controlled by an electric motor. So there is no more power steering pumps. There's no more power steering fluid. There's no more belt to drive it. It's all done electronically with servos and actuators. Yeah, and coming up to that point, we started using steering angle sensors, and we started using all these different devices. GM I'm trying to think here, late 90s and going into 2000, they started using an actual steering sensor that told the steering pump how much pressure to put out due to the amount of force being turned on the wheel.
Wow. And that would be different with each driver?
Yeah, it would be different. Not necessarily with each driver. It knows when you're going through a turn.
Okay.
So what it is when the car's going straight, the power steering pump doesn't have to produce as much pressure and take away power from the engine to turn the power steering. It's not the same going straight as it was if you're parking your car.
Okay, got it, right.
So even the world of electronics has entered into almost every part of the car.
It's a huge science. What you do is science. I'm glad you're keeping up with it. The good news is I just need to bring my car to you. That's the good news.
And there you have it.
Just to save up my pennies. It's an important thing.
Pennies. It's just pennies.
A day. Pennies a day. Thank you, Matt. What is your phone number?
My phone number is 352-690-1993.
All right. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Larry.
We'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. Severe storms leaving many areas in shambles this morning. In Van, Texas, about 2,000 people injured, 10 missing.
There are at least a dozen homes completely destroyed, maybe 100 plus homes sustaining some kind of damage. There are maybe 50 or 60 people in a shelter right now, while officials are still, now that we have daylight, assessing the damage.
Dan Godwin of Fox affiliate